So Warframe released their new Warframe, and I have to say she's very overhyped. In the dev streams, they made her seem like to be a very broken frame, but she's very annoying. If I have to say, like, I was very confused when I was playing her and when I was doing a lot of my stuff with her. And honestly, I have to say she's a very confusing frame. And the reason why is because she's RNG heavy. She's supposed to be a gambling Warframe, which, okay, every Warframe has a theme, but her gambling Warframe is literally just RNG. It's nothing. It's nothing. There's no because there is strategy within gambling, but there is no strategy within Koumei's kit at all. It's just, let's hope you get a 3 dice roll so that way your powers are actually good. But let's get into it. So Koumei is, I don't know what to categorize her. She is definitely a crowd control frame, but she's mainly a status dealing frame. What status she deals is very up to chance. She can deal out most of every elemental status effect and combine them to do combined status effects too, because I have seen her do some with her abilities do magnetize and viral damage. So it's very random, but she's just a status effect heavy frame, and really that's all you're gonna use her for. Honestly, you can make her into a DPS with her second ability, but her second ability is random, and you have so many decrees in her pool of abilities you can grab from her decrees. It's one of the situations where you're not going to use her second ability to really make your build stronger, because if you have a melee build, you can literally have like several range based decrees that goes against your build for Koumei. So her second ability is useful, and arguably is the only way she can really be viable in long-term higher levels of content. But her second ability is, and which is her main ability really, if I'm being honest with you, her second ability is very much random. It's RNG. She's a gambling Warframe, and it can be really bad. In my honest opinion, it can be really bad. I understand I jumped from her first to her second because I have to talk about her second, because her second ability is where she gets her arguably her strongest ability, but also it's her weakest ability, because it can give you decrees that goes against your build and goes against you in a negative light. There's a lot of bad decrees you can have, and lucky for me, I have only had several good decrees when I was playing with Koumei, but a lot of people who are better at the game than me had a lot of bad decrees with her. And it doesn't help that the way you can activate the decrees, you have to kill a certain amount of enemies by wall latching, kill them you have to do a certain criteria to activate these decrees. So if you have, let's say, hopefully you can get like a crit chance buff, and that's random. You can't really mod her for a crit chance buff for her second ability. You have to kill maybe 32 enemies wall latching. Yeah, you have to wall latch. No one wall latches in this fucking game, but you have to do it with Koumei if you want to use, bring her to the optimal level of play. And so her second ability, which is her core ability, is very bad because of the fact that it's RNG heavy, and there's no way you can really mod her to really get decrees that you want. How can you fix this? I suggest cut down the amount of decrees you can have to, like, some people have that around, like, I won't say 100 or something. Cut that shit down to like 20 and allow you to immediately activate the decree, but it's random. So you immediately activate the decree, but it's random. That is it. I think that's what they should do to buff Koumei, because my god, killing fucking 40 enemies wall latching just to get maybe a cool decree that can buff you and work well with your build is absolutely terrible. Her first ability is what I use a lot. It's literally just throwing strings in front of you, that every string does a different status effect. So if it hits an enemy, it buffs them. I mean, not buffs them, it hurts them. It doesn't really do a lot of damage. All it does is just do status effect, which is perfectly fine for Koumei, but it's one of the situations where her first ability is literally just a weaker version of her fourth. Her fourth does the same thing, but better, and actually keeps enemies still. So really, it's when you play Koumei, it's going to be you using her first and you're using her fourth ability consistently to do a lot of status effect. because that's really, if you don't want to use her decree, which I don't really use her decrees that much because I don't know what I'm going to get, her first and second ability are very useful. Her third ability is her survival tool, which is not really good. her third ability gives you 50% of protection, but it doesn't even do that because it has like a 3-second cooldown every time you get hit. So it protects you and heals you every time an enemy hits you when you have her third ability activated. But it has like a 3%. It has like a 3% cooldown. So 3%, I mean 3 seconds of protection, 3 seconds off. 3 seconds protection, 3 seconds off. Her third ability is absolutely fucking useless because who wants to be protected for 3 seconds? And you're still gonna die. Like, if these enemies are doing a lot of damage to you, her third ability is not gonna protect you that well because it has a 3-second cooldown. And even if it's not on cooldown, it doesn't do a good job of protecting you or healing you. Unlike, let's say, Garuda's second ability that heals you and it synergizes with her other abilities. Koumei's abilities don't really synergize outside of her dice roll mechanic, and her dice roll mechanic is what you see above my above my energy and like operator shit. I will pull it. It's right there. And every time you use an ability for Koumei, you roll the dice, but it's randomized because it's RNG. So you might get a good number roll, but the best one that you kind of want to hope for is all threes. But that is so random. I think that happened to me once when I was playing with Koumei in a real match, like as you see right now. So it's one of those situations where you can't really hope for that because it's very like not consistent at all. And honestly, that's basically Koumei. Now her passive is all randomly for 60 seconds. Is your abilities will gain a random status chance. I mean, your weapons will gain like a random status effect. So randomly, your weapon would do a random status effect for 60 seconds, which is fine. But here's the problem with that. I don't know if it works or not. It supposed to go through your primary, secondary, and melee. If you only have, let's say, a melee equipped, I think it has to go through your secondary and your primary weapons before it hits your melee, because it has like an order: primary, secondary, melee. So if you have a melee based build, her passive is not really useful because you have to wait 2 whole minutes for it to actually affect your melee weapon, which you're using for Koumei, because you're making a melee build. And it's one of the situations where her passive is cool. I don't think it's a bad passive. I don't think it's a good passive either. But the passive is not really good because it has to go through other stuff that you might not even have equipped to actually do the job that you want it to do. And it doesn't really help that, well, your abilities are always random. So random upon random upon random, it's literally just chance. And I understand she's a gambling Warframe, but for me, who likes the ability to kind of like control my randomness, that's the reason why when I hunt down for like components, I use Warframes that are designed for that. Because I do like randomness, but like having your entire kit be random is kind of bad. And it doesn't really help that her weapons are weak on purpose because she's supposed to be like an early game Warframe, which is fine. But you have early game Warframes, let's say like Garuda, which you can get early game. I'm trying to say she is an early game Warframe. You can get her early, but she's not really. But like you have like Warframes in like the first few areas that are much more powerful than Koumei. Rhino is a very early game Warframe that you can grind for, and he's more powerful in every single category that Koumei is. So it's one of those situations where I don't think, and it doesn't really help that her weapons also do the same thing as her passive. Koumei's weapons, because every Warframe that gets released has a weapon that has a few weapons that goes with the Warframe. Koumei's 2 weapons, their ability is randomly they would do a random status effect. That's the same shit as her passive. So really, you want to probably keep those weapons on Koumei, but also not keep those weapons on Koumei because her passive will do the same job. And doesn't like, I don't even think her passive actively buffs any random status and chance that you can get with her weapons, with her passive. So I don't think her passive works well with the weapons at all. I don't think they work together. So it's like, but I like Koumei. I think visually she's cool. Story-wise, she's interesting. She's supposed to be a human turned into a Warframe because she looks more like a robot. I don't know. Warframe is getting kind of weird with the Warframe lore. We have a sentient who's pretty much is an alien zombie-ish type of, as a Warframe, and we also have living concrete as a Warframe. So it's kind of weird. But it's one of the situations with Koumei. I understand where they're coming from, and I appreciate it, but Koumei is very much a polarizing frame, because either you really like her or you're one of the bigger Warframe content creators who think she needs to get buffed because they don't like her kit, because her kit is very bad. I don't want to say it's bad, but you can do everything Koumei does with other Warframes: better crowd control, better stats effects, better anything else. The only thing she has for only thing Koumei has for herself is this: her second ability. But even then, her second ability is very fucking random, and it can actively hurt your build than really anything else. And it doesn't really help that you have to immediately do these challenges just to get a good decree that can buff you. But you can also get a very bad decree, but you don't know what the decree is. So you can. Koumei is a fine Warframe, but man, does she need some changes. Like, either nerf the amount of decrees she can get and make it concrete of what we can do, or change her third ability into a dice roll that buffs and gives you good luck chances or some shit with all of her other abilities. Because I feel like her Mori's, her third ability, the shield, does not need to be there. It should have been a dice that buffs your chance of getting 3s on all of her other abilities, and actually allows you to activate it, activate her 3, to activate her 2, to bypass the stupid requirements of activating the decree. I think that's what they should have done with her 3, not give her like a stupid shield, but you know, it's DE. I can't control that. Honestly, I think Koumei's a fun frame. I think grinding for her will get you, especially as a new player, she can be very useful in early game content, maybe mid game content. She kind of struggles in mid game content, but if you mod her right, she can definitely do mid game and late game content, but not Steel Path. I don't think she's viable for Steel Path at all. Honestly, she's a good Warframe for you to grind for, so you can get accustomed to grinding in Warframe. But overall, Koumei is just mid, and honestly, she's a very mid frame. And considering that I play with a lot of mid frames, I had to say she's very mid. Because Caliban, who I'd never played before the rework, and I got him for free, is 30 times better than her. Caliban does almost a lot of things similar to Koumei, but better. So, yeah. Please like, comment, subscribe. Thank you guys for watching. Sorry for, it's my first time doing this. So, sorry about the audio. But, yeah. Thank you for watching, and enjoy Koumei. Koumei the 5 Fates, and yeah, thank you for watching. And by the way, I've been playing this game for like only 40 days, what Warframe tells me, so it's pretty fun. See you guys later.